Welcome back into the NFL Every Game on the Board podcast with our closer, Gianni the Greek. Gianni, welcome in, buddy. How you feeling?
Never better, man. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to do this, go over the NFL. I can't believe how far into the season we are, but we have enough data now. We've seen enough to know, what home field advantage is, the high scoring, the totals catching up. So we got a lot. We have a foundation, at least, moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's interesting you bring up, 2020, how much is home field advantage? Before we get to the games, is how much of a difference is 2020 from 2019 in your home field advantage?
Worth almost nothing. Listen,
Okay.
I trust the analytics guys. There's quants. There's guys that do it a lot better than me. And like I always say, I've learned to not need to be the smartest guy in every room. Surround yourself with smart people. And I'm not an X's and O's guy. That's why I don't really try to analyze matchups that way. I'm not an analyst. You know what I mean? Compared to Troy Aikman, I don't even know what I'm watching. Is how I like to approach it. And according to the quants, who now have enough data under them of points scored, points allowed for every NFL team at home compared to on the road, they all say home field advantage is worth anywhere between 0 and half a point. So to me, it's somewhere around, I'd say a quarter, find the average down the middle, which is almost nothing, almost negligible at that. If anything, I think now you could take advantage of home field advantage being factored in when it shouldn't be. You know what I mean? Kind of like teams that have a strong home field advantage, at least historically, Seattle, New Orleans, and maybe they are shaded a little bit when they do play at home when they shouldn't be shaded. And I think that's where you can take advantage in 2020 as opposed to, waiting to see is there home field advantage or not. Because again, unless you have a sample size of data, not really, you're almost guessing. But again, small sample size sport NFL makes it difficult. But I trust in guys smarter than myself who let us know that, it's worth around that quarter point, less than a half point. And I think, again, you could take advantage of it because we're so used to giving so much credit for home field.
And he's an experienced better, as you could probably tell. Follow him on Twitter at Greek_Gambler. He's up over 200% at WagerTalk.com. Check out his packages. He's really killing it, guys. Hasn't had a losing season since joining WagerTalk. And also, if you've been living under a rock and haven't seen him on UFC, doing analysis there for the UFC and Dana White as well here in Las Vegas, Nevada. But let's get into the games here, Greek. We got 463, 464 up first in the second half of the NFL Every Game on the Board podcast. We did have Ski Profit just in the segment before do the top half, but we got Cincinnati at Washington here, Gianni. We got 46.5 being the total with the Washington football team, my favorite team name in the NFL, -2 home favorites here. What do you think in Cincinnati and Washington?
I haven't done anything with this game, and I provide betting accounts for different groups that win in different sports, and I get to see what they're betting, and I've moved steam for a very long time, and it helps me narrow down at least a handful of plus EV plays to choose from. And to make a long story short, I didn't see anything on this game. Here's what pops out to me. Cincinnati looks like the perfect teaser situation. You add 6 points to it. You take it up through 3 and through 7. It's a positive EV teaser. The problem with that is I don't really like the Cincinnati side in this one. I don't like the Washington side either. So the only reason I'd be teasing it is because I could get through that 3, through that 7. And I don't know if that's enough to win over 75%, which you need on that each end of the teaser. I don't know if that increases Cincinnati's ATS probabilities that much. I wouldn't bet it. But I think that's the only way you could use it. To me, this is a pass type of game.
Okay. And Gianni, I always get a lot of doing these shows, guys talking about teasing different games, even in college football, totals, whatever. And I know you have a lot of experience being a successful sports bettor here. Can you just give like a quick rundown of when is a smart time to tease a game?
Listen, any small sample size, you could tell me I'm wrong. And in any given season, I understand, this favorites and over went 80% this year. I'm talking significant sample size that actually has statistical significance. The only plus EV teasers that at least decades of history shows us are when you're able to tease numbers, not teams. The guys that make money betting teasers tease numbers. And where you gain value is when you're able to tease through the numbers 3 and 7, the most key numbers, either teasing up or teasing down. Meaning if you have an 8-point favorite and you could tease it down through 7 through 3, now bringing it down to -2, that puts it in a plus EV category. Or you have a 1.5, 2-point underdog that you tease up 6 points to 7.5 plus 8. Now you went through 3 through 7 again. That turns it plus EV. Here's what I want to tell you. You need to stick to 6-point teasers, nothing higher than that. Throw out everything else. 6.5, 7, don't do it. You want to look for -110, maybe -120 if you have no other choice. And if that's what you're betting into, be very selective. I mean, only use your teasers if as a way to get more money down on something you really love. Because the only reason you should be betting a teaser is if you can't get enough money down on a game, kind of like why betting syndicates do round robins on college basketball totals, which again, I don't have problems getting money down on NFL. I don't think anyone watching is going to have problems getting money down on NFL. The books will take a lot of money on NFL. So that's not a reason to use a teaser. The only reason then you should use it is because it increases your implied probability of cashing ATS by 75%, meaning at +2, you don't have a chance of cashing. Maybe it's 50%, not enough to turn a profit at -110. But if I add 6 points to it, that at 2 at +8, now their probability of cashing is over 75%. If that's the case, it's a plus EV teaser. Otherwise, you're betting into an even higher hold than laying 11 to win 10. And we all know how hard it is to turn a profit laying 11 to win 10. Very few people are able to do even that. So be very selective with teasers. Stick to 6-point teasers. Tease numbers, not teams, and try to go through 3 and 7 so you're grabbing all the value. And the final nugget, look for low totals. Points matter most when games are low scoring or expected to be low scoring. If they're going to score 80 points, each point isn't worth much. If they're going to score 25 points, each point is worth a ton. So again, look at the totals, kind of piece it all together, and look for 3s and 7s to beat those two numbers. You'll do just fine. Don't yet use more than 6 or lay more than 110. You'll do good.
Great explanation there, Gianni. And in terms of sports, is it just NFL, or could you tease,
I'll tell you, here's what I can tell you. I'm not, again, and my way isn't the only way. The only thing I can say is this is what I've seen from the groups that I work with that win money long-term year after year. That's what they do. And the only sport that I have ever gotten a teaser from them, asked me to bet a teaser, and it happened last week, actually, only one time this entire year. And it was last week. What a coincidence. Has been, they wanted a 6-point teaser. It's been on sides, and they will not lay more than 110. That's been the golden rule since I moved out here, 20 plus years ago. They don't tease totals ever. They don't tease college football. They don't tease NBA or college basketball. Again, they use parlays, believe it or not, round robins, believe it or not. And a lot of people think they don't do that. They lay -200s in baseball, believe it or not. They lay -400s in fights, believe it or not, and make money. But they do not tease anything else other than NFL, at least that I've seen.
All right, thanks for that, Gianni. No, that was good stuff. We got Tennessee, back to the games. Tennessee at Baltimore up next. Ravens -6, -6.5, depending where you're shopping. 49 being the total here. We got the Titans and Ravens, Gianni.
Yeah, another game I have not bet this game yet. Listen, what can you say about Baltimore? How are they going to respond since that Pittsburgh loss? Not very well. They did good showing up against Indianapolis. I was on the wrong side there. I had Indianapolis. I know a lot of guys did as well. It didn't turn out well for us. But then you have New England, and once again, you lose. Here's the problem with betting Baltimore in this spot. You have Pittsburgh up next. So it looks like a terrible spot, a sandwich spot almost, with the Thanksgiving games coming up next week. So I don't see a reason to lay the points here with Baltimore, but they fall under that teaser situation as well. I don't think it's a bad bet teasing Baltimore to win straight up at home. This is a team historically over the years has done very well there. Again, home field advantage doesn't matter this season, and they've lost this year twice at home, I believe. But historically, they played a lot better there than they have on the road. As far as the Tennessee side, I don't think that's enough points, to be honest with you. If it was over 7, I may look to the dog, but below a touchdown, I don't really like it. I think it's priced pretty right. I think that's why I haven't seen much sharp action come in on that game. So I'm sorry I don't have much to share, but I don't want to waste your time or give you an opinion that I'm not backing with my own money. And I'll let you know when we cover games that I did bet.
Yeah, that's totally fine, man. This is every game on the board. We're just, if you like a side, that's great. If not, cool to be quick on this one, bro. We got Dallas, Minnesota up next. Looks like the Vikings, -7-point favorites at home. Yes, -7 flat across the board. 48.5 being the total in this one, Gianni.
Yeah, I bet this game. I took the Dallas Cowboys at +8. I released it as a premium play at +7.5 to my subscribers, 4% play. I think this is a good spot for Dallas coming in off that bye week. We talked about it earlier on Bet On It, and Marco said it perfectly. The last thing you want to do is have a bye week when you're on fire. I mean, you want to keep rolling. Yeah. You want that streak to continue. You want to play, bring me the next victim. When things aren't going good, you kind of want to get off the football field, man. We got to call a timeout and relook at things. And for Dallas, the timing is perfect. You know what I mean? You've seen the kind of season they had. Now, could they turn things around in a matter of 2 weeks? Probably not. But I do think we'll get a better game out of them. And that's all you need to cover this number, because there's a lot of points that Minnesota's given. In fact, this is the most they've been favored all season long. So they're in a spot, you're asking them to do something they haven't done yet this entire season. They haven't been bigger than 3.5-point favorites. So we got to slow our roll, even though they got it done on Monday Night Football for a lot of people and covered 3 straight games. This isn't a team that's been, beating teams by margins. And if you're going to cover touchdowns or more, you got to win by margin. And they haven't been doing that except to Detroit. I get it. Dallas is comparable to Detroit, but I think this is a good spot for Dallas, and we will get effort. Give me effort with an underdog, and I'm all over it.
All right, Gianni. Well, interested in your opinion on this. That next one is with an underdog. And they've been given a lot of effort, especially of recent, talking about our Las Vegas Raiders at home hosting the Kansas City Chiefs in revenge mode off of the first game these two matched up. We got the Chiefs -7, a full touchdown road favorites here, Gianni. 56.5 being the point total at Legion Stadium.
Wow. Yeah, I bet this game. I bet the side and I bet the total. So I'm going to let you know what I got. I gave my subscribers play on the Vegas Raiders +7 at -120 and over 56. Kansas City, Vegas. If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. We saw this game already, and it may sound square, but who's going to stop these offenses? You have Mahomes and Carr, who've combined for almost 5,000 yards passing, 41 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. You have 2 running backs who've combined for almost 1,300 yards rushing. They could throw the ball. They could run the ball. And you don't have the most juggernaut defenses on the other side. So I don't think much is going to change. And more importantly, the totals haven't yet caught up with the scoring. Listen, on week 4 or 5, you had an excuse. There wasn't enough data yet. So I get it. Even though the NFL teams were scoring around 51 points, the average total was around 46.5, 47. You were way off. No wonder all those games were going over. It's a little bit better now. They're still averaging around 51 points in the NFL per game, but the totals are averaged around 49 each week now. So we're getting a little more unders, but it's still not high enough. It's still not up to that NFL average or above it even. And we're getting a high scoring game here. I don't think that's going to change. I like the over. Again, sounds square. but sometimes square's the right side. And I like the Raiders here too. Listen, Kansas City, it's not like the Raiders went in there and cheated them and stole it from them. They beat them. And now you're coming into our stadium and you're giving us a little too many points, given that touchdown or so here. Again, Kansas City has done well against the spread, and it's not expected because they're a team that gets bet on week in and week out. And the fact they've outperformed the betting market tells me how good they are. But I still think 7 in this spot, even 6.5, is just a little bit too high. Again, we saw this game earlier. Vegas could hang with them. I think they do the same on Sunday night.
Good stuff, Gianni. Breaking it down. We got another interesting handicap here. 475, 476, guys. 3 games left on this segment. 4:05 Eastern, 1:05 Pacific kick here. Miami Dolphins, Denver Broncos. We got the Dolphins -3 or -3 in the hook, depending where you're shopping here. An important number to shop around, guys. 45 being the total. We got the Dolphins. This defense is strong. But laying 3 in the hook on the road, going from sea level to a mile high here, Gianni. Interested in your thoughts?
Yeah, listen, here's the problem for this game with me. Some guys that I respect like that Miami side. And I know how hard it is to win long term and how few people actually pull it off. And when someone does, I have to respect their opinion. Not enough to just piggyback guys blindly, although there are some I do have that much trust in, but I am always going to stop and take a second look. I have no problem checking my ego at the door and realizing I'm not going to be able to quantify every factor or see everything myself. And when I get more than one guy I respect tell me they like the Miami side, betting it up to -2.5, betting it on the money line, I got to take a look, but I don't see anything I really love because here's a team that I expect a regression ATS. I know it's a small sample size sport, and sometimes there's not enough time for progressions and regressions. Again, I'm not talking X's and O's. I'm talking markets. And when you have any company, any team that's this overvalued, meaning ATS margin, let me tell you right now, they are over plus 60 or 70 points ATS over their last 5 games, over like 70 or so, 80 over the last 6 or 7. The market's going to catch up. It's a very efficient market. The NFL is the most efficient. In fact, look over the last 5,000 games. You're going to find 2,500 favorites, 2,500 dogs, 2,500 overs, or 2,500 unders, or very close to that number. That much I can promise you, to where when you add in the VIG, you couldn't make money blindly betting overs, unders, favorites, or dogs. That's how efficient they are. And I just think this is a case of a regression for Miami. If anything, it's nothing more than that. And I think as bad as Denver's looked over the last 2 weeks, even though they were on the road, I think you have an undervalued team versus an overvalued team. And for me, that's the perfect storm to take the dog. I haven't bet it because, again, I respect the Miami money. But for me, it would be a dog or pass. I would take the 3 and a hook or leave it alone.
Great stuff. He's Gianni the Greek on Twitter at Greek_Gambler. Guys, check out his packages, WagerTalk.com. Up over 200%. Top 2 in the rankings here at WagerTalk.com in terms of profit produced. So check them out. 3-day, 7-day, 30-day, full season packages, all available. And on Twitter, once again, a great follow at Greek_Gambler. We got the Sunday Nighter and the Monday Nighter to finish it off here, guys. Excuse me, the Sunday Nighter was flexed out. So last on the rotation, of course, with the New York Jets being flexed out of Sunday Night Football. LA Chargers hosting the New York Jets. We got 46.5 being the total here. And it looks like the Chargers, -8 in the hook or -9 at home, Gianni.
I'm going to make this simple because I bet this game. Forget the fact that the groups I provide accounts for came in and took the Jets as well at +9.5. I bet it. I released it at 8.5 to my guys on Monday. It's a premium play, 4% play, if I'm not mistaken. And for me, the reason is simple. And I think there's, even now, 8.5, even at 7.5, I think I would still bet it. Because what does a 2-win Chargers team, what business do you have laying over a touchdown?
Yeah.
I don't care who you're playing. Just tell me what business, what in the Chargers season makes me all warm and fuzzy and wanting to lay 11 to win 10, to lay over a touchdown with this team that's managed to win 2 football games. The first one happened back in September in week 1 where they won by a field goal. And the second one happened against Jacksonville. In fact, they've only covered 1 game where they've been favored by more than 3 points. And it was against that Jacksonville team where I get it. Okay, maybe the Jets aren't better than Jacksonville. I personally think they do. In fact, on a neutral field, I'd make the Jets favored over Jacksonville. So for me, I think it's that simple. It's not even a bet on the Jets. It's a bet against the Chargers, who have zero business opening as almost a double-digit favorite, 9.5 against anyone in the NFL this year. They've done nothing to warrant that. Aber's having a great season. I love what I'm seeing from Herbert, Haber, call him what you will. That's great. Beautiful. I love it. Great. The future, the franchise. But you still won 2 games this year. So you shouldn't be laying 9.5. Give me the Jets all day. Jets, Jets.
Bet numbers, not teams, from Gianni the Greek. I love it, man. LA Rams, Tampa Bay Bucks to finish it off here. We got the Bucks, the Tom Brady Bucks, -4 in Raymond James, 48.5 being the total in the Monday Nighter, Gianni.
Whew, man, I have not bet this game yet. And I've gone back and forth. My initial read was I like the Rams getting points, man. Tampa Bay looked good getting back after that blowout to New Orleans. I know a lot of guys had Carolina. I took Tampa Bay. They came through for me last week. Are we going to ride TB again? I'm not too sure, man. The only problem with the Rams is I'm not sure who they are just yet. I mean, we started seeing they're a top 5, top 10 defense, DVOA, which is so impressive. They're one of the few teams that can say that. I mean, Tampa Bay can say that. New Orleans can say that. And they can say that. That's it. No other team is top 3 DVOA, offense and defense. But I haven't seen the results for that. You know what I mean? Like, you lose to Buffalo. You lose to San Francisco. You lose to Miami. Those are some games you should win. You were favored in all of those except the Buffalo game. That's the problem with the Rams. I'm not sure they have that identity just yet. The analytics are great through the roof. I love what I see, but I don't know what this team's, who they are yet. Are they a low-scoring team, a high-scoring team, offense, defense, or are they just perfectly well-rounded to go out there and win football games? And Tampa Bay, Monday night, again, I don't want to run in circles and waste any more people's time. I didn't bet this game. I think it's a tough one. I've seen sharp money on both sides. If I had to bet the game and it was tonight, if I had to give you an opinion, I'd say bet the under. I think you're going to see more of a physical defensive type of game. I know with Tom Brady and Tampa coming off scoring all those points, you expect that to continue. But you're looking at the number 1 DVO defense with Tampa Bay, and the Rams ain't far behind at number 8. And usually that's the perfect storm for an over, because when you get great defenses, the line shaded towards that bias, and good defenses get turnovers and short fields, and they turn into points. And a lot of times I look to bet overs with 2 great defenses, and a lot of times unders with 2 great offenses to take advantage of the bias that's shaded into the prices. In this case, I don't think that it's really biased, because we know Tampa and Brady are capable in offense, and even the Rams, man. So for me, I say under. If I have to give a pick, it's under in this game. Otherwise, enjoy watching it.
He's Gianni the Greek. Great energy, up over 200% ROI on the year. Top 2 handicapper at WagerTalk.com. Check him out. Also check him out on Twitter at Greek_gambler. Doing UFC stuff. Obviously knows his NFL here, guys. So follow him on Twitter. And Gianni, thanks for the time. We're people asking about questions and stuff. We're just up against it time-wise, man. So
thanks for
guys,
having me.
Yeah, next time we have him on, we'll pound him with some questions. But best of luck, guys. We'll be right back with Jeff, Ostheim Sports, talking college football, every game on the board. Best of luck with your bets until then, guys.